Hi, I'm vExpert, Senior End User Computing Specialist at VMware.
And I'm Joris Adriaanse, Business Development Manager at Fondo.
In this week's video, we are going to cover the tips and tricks for troubleshooting with Workspace ONE. We're going to check out the logging features within the Workspace ONE console. We're going to check out Workspace ONE Assist. We're also going to cover the tools we use for troubleshooting. And we're going to cover the Unified Access Gateway architecture. Joris, can you take us through the logging features within the Workspace ONE console?
Sure, let's dive in. Within Workspace ONE UEM, we have two loggings. One is for the console, where we can see which administrator executed which command, for example, if someone modified any setting. And we have device information, where we can troubleshoot a specific device. I will show you both. So first, when you're in the Devices tab, you can go to Monitor. And under Reports and Analytics, we have the Events tab. We'll first select Console Events. And we can filter back to everything up to a month. And here you can see everything that has been changed in our environment over the last month. As you can see here, for example, this administrator has published an iOS profile, which is called iOS passcode, and has published this. So if you're looking for any errors, you can filter on a certain type of error or a certain level of error message. So there's a lot to choose from. So for example, everything that happens with an application, and you can filter and troubleshoot there where necessary.
So Joris, what about compliancy? Can you check like compliancy status within the logging?
Yeah, so within these logs, for example, this last month, we can go to the category where you can see compliancy policy status or compliancy status. So as you can see, this device, my iPhone, has unblocked a device type because it became compliant in our system. So this information can be exported as well to a CSV or an Excel file if you want to gather information and hand this to either a vendor or a colleague for troubleshooting. So this is an overview of all the devices. If you want to troubleshoot a certain device, you can either select the name of the device here or go to Devices and under List View, select the device you want to troubleshoot. So for example, if I select my iPad, I get all the information, and under More, we also have a troubleshooting tab where we can see all information that's going on in this for this device. So in my iPad, I can choose More and select Troubleshooting. And here we can get a big batch of all the stuff that's going on for this mobile device. So as you can see at the bottom, it's 363 events, which is quite a lot for troubleshooting. So on the left side, to make it easier for yourself, you can select the filter group and either select a date if a user has a certain error where he has a date and time which is known, or you can select the type of events or the severity or the event action that has been taken. So also this information can be exported for troubleshooting benefits. So Windows 10 has its own options to troubleshoot. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So I've got a Windows machine right here. And if you go to the System tray and to the Workspace ONE icon, and you right-click on this icon and select Troubleshoot Collect Logs, you'll be asked where to save these log files. I'll set them in my documents. So this will create a zip folder on your machine where all the log files of this system and of all the agents will be bundled into one folder. So if you do run into problems and you want to create a help desk ticket at VMware, I would highly advise for you to bundle up these log files and send them with your ticket. This way VMware can start troubleshooting sooner and easier. All right, so my bundle has completed. As you can see, it's in the Documents folder. And if I open it up, you can see that there's device logs and also the log files of all the agents. So Joris, how can I assist you?
Well, I got this Android device right here, and I'm having trouble reaching intranet websites from our company. Could you help me out remotely?
Sure. Shall we share your screen and I can watch you or guide you through the steps?
Yes, please.
All right. So if you check out the console and you go to the device you want to share the screen with, you can go to the More Actions tab and then select Remote Management. This will activate the Remote Management module or the Workspace ONE Assist module. It's creating a connection to the device, and I can either manage files remotely, or I can send out a command, or I can share his screen. So I'm selecting Share Screen. Here you can see that there is a connection created to the phone that Joris currently holds, I can check out the device, the name, the network, the hardware condition, and I can view his screen remotely. So if Joris operates the phone, I can remotely watch him and guide him through the steps. So Joris, you currently need to select the web application of VMware, which is on your home screen.
Where can I find the home screen?
Let me show you. So another option is for me to remotely control the phone. So I'll open up the first page and I'm selecting the web application. And with the VMware web application, you're able to open up internal web pages. For example, this registration form. Does this help you out?
Perfect. Thanks for your assistance.
No worries. One of the questions we got from the community is what kind of tools we use during troubleshooting. So we'll cover these tools. Most of them you would have seen in the earlier episodes, but we're going to cover these tools and give a short explanation about what each tool does. Joris, can you walk us through the first two tools?
Yeah, sure. So in one of our previous episodes, when we were creating a single sign-on connection, we used SAML Tracer. SAML Tracer is a plugin for various browsers where you can see all the SAML communication that is going on during a connection request. If there are any issues there, SAML Tracer will give you the information on where to troubleshoot.
And the second tool?
So the second tool is also Workspace ONE Access related. When you've created multiple web applications and single sign-on configurations, you might want to export and backup those, and you might want to import them into a new environment. If you go to techzone.vmware.com, you can download an external tool, which is called a Fling, where you can export all that information and save it to your machine. So Huip, in the previous episodes, we've used a lot of virtual machines to create scenarios. Which tools can we use?
All right. In the earlier episodes, you've seen us use Android Studio and VMware Fusion. We use VMware Fusion to virtualize desktop devices, for example, OS X or Windows 10. And we've used Android Studio to virtualize Android devices. If you want to know how to set them up specifically for a Workspace ONE testing environment, then please check out our previous episode.
So Huip, we've been using VMware Fusion on our Mac devices. Is there also a Windows alternative?
There is. So if you're on a Windows machine and you also want to virtualize desktop devices, you can use VMware Workstation for that. So you currently can't virtualize an iOS device and connect it to Workspace ONE. That's just not possible on the iOS platform. In a previous episode, you've seen us do a work profile, a work managed Android phone using all kinds of scripts and Android Studio. With iOS, you can supervise a device. Joris, could you talk us through how to supervise a device?
Sure. So for some scenarios, you would like a supervised iOS device. Supervising came in a previous episode when we discussed Apple Business Manager and the device enrollment program. If you already have an iOS device and you would like to supervise this for the same experience, you can use Apple Configurator. At this moment, version 2 can be downloaded and in the App Store on macOS. So a lot of settings in Workspace ONE can be triggered through API. How would we troubleshoot such a connection?
So when troubleshooting API or API commands, we typically use Postman. So it's a free-to-use tool which you can download off the internet, and you will find the link in the description below. And I think lastly, the thing which would be good to cover is called status.workspaceone.com, where you can check out the uptime of the Workspace ONE platform.
So Huip, in the past episode, we've been building quite a large environment. Are there any options to experience Workspace ONE either as a user or a system administrator? Sure.
So I've got two options for you. If you want to start learning about Workspace ONE, but you don't want to immediately build your whole own environment, you can go to Hands-on Labs of VMware, where you can register and you can follow guided training courses through the product. And secondly, there's Test Drive. And for people watching this at home, you can email us at questions@fondo.tech, and you can use that same email to request access to the Test Drive environment. So Test Drive is a demo environment specifically used for the end user experience. You can also access the admin console, but a lot of it is locked down. So this is ideal if you just want to quickly test something or show something to your colleagues real quick. Two tips on Test Drive. So there are multiple scenarios in Test Drive. You can open up the scenarios by using the left arrow. On your right in the yellow/orange menu, there's the walkthroughs tab. Here you can find all the scenarios which you can test and demo and show to your colleagues. So that's very important. And if you also want to test the SAML integrations, you need to scroll all the way down and enable Dropbox and Office 365. So that's test drive for you. So Joris, one of the questions out of the community was how to organize testing within Workspace ONE. Could you show us some tips and tricks?
Sure. So within Workspace ONE, we can create organizational units, which are divisions where you can create, where you can separate role-based access, delegation of control, and all the integration components. It's like setting up a mini testing environment within your full-blown Workspace ONE. Let me show you how to do that. So to create an organizational group, go to Groups and Settings, Groups, Organizational Groups, and List View. And here you can see the one organization group we have called Fondo Tech. If you go to Details, you'll see that this is a type, which is a customer type. This means this is the top level of our Workspace ONE environment. So we can press Add Child Organization Group, fill in a display name, for example, Testing, fill in a group ID, which needs to be unique. So Testing Fondo Tech.
And yours, can I do dtab with this? So can I create develop, test, acceptance, and production?
Yeah, I'll show you how that works.
All right.
So we can press Save. And now you can see at the top, we are at Fondo Tech / testing. So this is a drop-down organizational group. Now we are in the testing group, and we can still say add child organization, for example, your develop environment. So that's Fondo Tech develop. Press save. And now under our testing environment, we have a develop environment. If I want to create an additional one under testing, I'll go back to the testing one, press add child again, and we can call this acceptance. So Fondo Tech acceptance.
And in a previous episode, we've covered delegation of control, so creating separate admin roles for certain types of admins.
Yeah.
Could you combine that with like the multiple organizational groups?
Yeah, we can. So as you can see now, we are creating a multi-tenant environment, and every tenant can have its own role-based access, delegation of control, and integration components. So for example, if we want to have an administrator on the acceptance level, we can go to our accounts. And if you go to list view, we go to the top level, you can see our admins. And in a previous episode, we've created this user to be an application manager on the highest level. What we can do is modify his account, his role, and as he is an application manager on Fondo Tech, we can, for example, make him a console administrator in the testing / acceptance environment. So in this way, if this user logs on, he can switch between application manager at the top level or full console administrator at a lower development level. So this is how role-based access, delegation of control works with these organizational groups. If you're working for a large company, you can divide, for example, by division, by region. So if you want to create separate areas for every country you're working in and have separate administrators for that environment, that's possible without a lot of hassle for a system administrator.
So one of the things I wanted to cover in this final video is how to create an architectural design for Workspace ONE. One of the things you can do is use the digital workspace topology tool. You can find this tool on techzone.vmware.com. Let's create an example. I'm going to name our design Fondo Tech, and I'm going to select Next. And in this overview, I can select all the things I want to incorporate into my design. So we're going to have Workspace ONE UEM with the connector in place, which is also going to be highly available. We're going to have Workspace ONE Access, including Verify, the two-factor authentication, SaaS applications, and the Identity Manager connector, which is also going to be high available. We're going to incorporate email into this environment. And we're going to have the secure email gateway, which I think yours is actually being integrated right now into the Unified Access Gateway. Yeah. So we're also going to have VPN, the content gateway, which we just discussed, and we're going to have Assist. After you've selected all your components, you can select Next. Here you ask, in the second screen, you're going to get asked if you want to incorporate Horizon in your design. In our case, we do want to have that. So I'm selecting external access for Horizon. We're going to have Horizon 7 on-premise. And let's see, we're going to have the enrollment server for single sign-on as well. Let's check out the extra options. Yeah, let's select the user environment manager as well. Next, I'm going to select submit. And VMware is going to create an architectural overview of your environment. And you can also turn on the network ports, so you can see which ports the environment is going to be using and which ports you need to open up to the internet for the environment to work correctly. So if you take a look at our architectural overview, in the white section you can find all the cloud components hosted by VMware. If you do a mouse over, you can see the details and you can see where the connection is to and which port number it is using. In the middle section is the DMZ. These are our edge services connecting through the internal network. And all the way inside the internal network, in the green zone, you can find the connectors. So Joris, we already mentioned that the secure email gateway is currently being integrated in the Unified Access Gateway.
Correct.
Could you explain a little bit about what the Access Gateway does?
Sure. So the Unified Access Gateway is a virtual appliance that you can place in your DMZ and in your internal network to make external devices connect to internal resources. So it has numerous types of roles. The Secure Email Gateway, as you just mentioned, is one of them that has been recently integrated to add additional security to your Exchange Active Sync. We can also connect to a file server for content. We can address VPN resources, so a secure tunnel from your mobile device to a system in your data center. It can also facilitate your Horizon connection, and it can also work as a web proxy. So in our demonstration earlier, we used VMware Web as an application to reach an internal website that goes through the proxy system of the Unified Access Gateway.
All right. So, and as the UAG holds so many roles, I think we both agree that in a production environment, you're going to make this high available by placing 1 or 2 or 3 within a data center, right?
Yeah. So within a production environment, normally per role, you would do at least 2 behind a load balancer. Okay. So for testing purposes, you can combine roles or POC. All right. Nice. So a couple of my customers are more and more zero trusting their environment and also connections from the UAG or from their internal devices to VMware. They want to whitelist connectivity. Is there an overview of what they need to whitelist?
Yes. So if you go to the link in the description, you can find the IP overview of the Workspace ONE access tenants per country. So you can find out in which country your environment is being hosted and whitelist those IP ranges.
So this was our last episode for our Fondo TV series Workspace ONE. I want to thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Huip, can you give some more tips for our viewers at home how to get into the community?
Sure. So please make sure to check out vExpert on techzone.com. That if you're going to work with Workspace ONE or if you're going to work with Horizon, make sure to blog, video posts, be active in the communities, and check out the vExpert program. And before you know it, you're going to be an expert and you're going to be advising the whole world how to use Workspace ONE. But most of all, thank you for watching.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.